The moment I met Alice, I knew we would be friends forever. I remember the first day I first met Alice. It was the first day of freshman year, about 3 years ago. I was a shy, quiet kid, so making friends was difficult. On that very first day at my huge high school of 3,000 students, I was basically sitting all alone in the corner waiting for the class to start. Then she came walking up to me. She was so beautiful at first I thought I was seeing things. She was tall with milky white skin and long raven hair, and she had the brightest emerald eyes I've ever seen. First I assumed she was coming towards me to make fun of me, like all the other popular girls had in the past, so I was shocked when she came up to me and introduced herself. "Hello, my name is Alice Smellman." "Why are you all alone?" she asked in a honey-sweet voice. I was caught off guard by her sudden friendly behavior. I managed to choke out my name. Allie, Allie Carson, I stammered. "Well, Allie, I think it's Allie, or I think it's a girl. I don't know. Never mind. Allie, you seem to be a special. Oh, yeah, she's a girl. You seem to be a special girl. And since I'm new in this neat little town, do you mind showing me around the school? And if you aren't busy after school, maybe you could show me around town," she asked. "No, I don't mind at all," I replied, still a bit surprised by at her forwardness. "Yeah, thank you so much. I just know we will be best of the friends, little lady," she said, giving me a awkward hug. From that moment on, Alice and I were like two peas in a pod. We sat together at lunch. We studied in study hall. We even walked home together. She was my best friend. Well, my only friend. But this isn't the point. However, as you well know, when you are best friends with a person, you tend to know them pretty well. As the months passed, I began to notice things about Alice. For example, she didn't eat lunch. She just sat with me while I ate. I offered her some of my food every day, but she always refused. Another weird thing, I was never I was never allowed to go to her house. I asked her about that once and was shocked when she got angry and screamed at me that it was none of my business where her house was and I shouldn't be nosy. I was so surprised. We didn't talk the rest of that day. The next day, she was back to normal. I dismissed her sudden outburst as the result of a rough day at school. There was one other thing I noticed. Alice was getting thinner and older. Not all at once, of course, but slowly. Every day she was a little bit thinner and a little bit older. It was like she was aging a year instead of a day. By the time spring break came around, Alice looked like 40 pounds lighter and 30 years older. I was so worried about my friend, but when I asked her if she was okay, she said she was and acted as if nothing was wrong. Nobody else seemed to notice Alice's sudden decline in health either. Only I saw it. What if she said she was okay? I couldn't do anything about it. Could I? During spring break, I hadn't heard from Alice. That is, till I received a phone call from a restricted number. "Hello, who is this?" "Hey lady, it's Alice. How are you?" "Alice, yay! I'm fine, but so bored." Well, I had the perfect solution. "Sleepover! Yay!" That sounds perfect. Is tonight okay? My parents are out of town, so we don't have any worry about them messing with us. Perfect! I'll come over right over. Oh, and lady, I have a big surprise for you. I didn't like the way she said that. Her tone had a strange tone into it, like an India's joke that I wasn't in it on. But I just thought I was being childish because I had been home all alone all day. We all get a bit scared when we're home. We are home alone, right? Okay, but hurry, it's getting dark outside. Okay, see you later, little lady. Alice had called me little lady since the day we met. I assume it's because it am about 8 inches shorter than she is. I liked the nickname. It suited me. No one else ever heard her call me that, though. It was our little secret. By the time I heard the doorbell ring, it was already dark outside. Despite the fact that it was spring, everything had moved up 1 hour. It was warm. It was a warm spring night. The full moon lit up the night sky. When I answered the door, I was shocked at the person before me. She had to be at least 80 or 90 years old, with stark white hair, wrinkled skin, and the brightest green eyes I've ever seen. Alice? I asked. Though I already knew the answer. No one had eyes that green but my own Alex Spellman. The old woman didn't respond but just walked into the house. I didn't know what else to do, so I just closed the door behind myself. I turned and came face to face with a monster. I'll spare you the details because they are too gruesome to describe without inducing nightmares. All I will say is it looked like if it was a 90-year-old Barbie doll that had someone has lit on fire. I did what any sane person would do. I ran screaming up the stairs into my bedroom and locked the door. The beast was quite fast despite its appearance. It was up the stairs in an instant and started to break down my door. I searched for any means of escape, but found that my only option was suicide. Jump from my second story window. I could see that door was going to give out any moment, so I went with plan B. Find a weapon and slow she know it down enough to escape. Sadly, the best thing I could find was a metal curtain rod. The door finally gave and smashed into pieces, revealing the creature behind it. It charged at me and almost grabbed me, but I was barely able to avoid it. And then, with a mighty swing that was a baseball superstar worthy, I hit the walking corpse right in the head, knocking it to the ground. Then I ran, and I might have gotten away if I hadn't fallen down the stairs. I don't remember that very well. All I know is that the 1 second I was at the top, the next I was at the bottom. I screamed out in pain. I saw that my ankles twisted in a direction I was certain wasn't natural. I tried to get up, even managed to stand for a second, but I instantly fell. I could hear Alice stirring. I knew if I didn't move then, I was done for. So I crawled on my hands and knees. I was almost to the door, but it got to me first. It grabbed me by the ankle, making me howl in pain. I tried to shake it off. Found it impossible. The last thing I remember before I blacked out from fear of pain I'll never know was looking up, seeing the most disgusting face smiling back at me. When I woke up, I don't know what was going on. I knew I was on the floor, and I knew I was home. Then I felt a stinging sensation on the back of my neck, and everything slowed down. I tried to sit up, but I found myself frozen in place. I tried and tried, but I just couldn't move. At this point, I was starting to panic. Why couldn't I move? My answer came in form of a question. Do you like my little spell, lady? It works like a dream, even after such a long time. That's when it all came rushing back. I felt a hand turn me around and me up. I came face to face with the monstrous being that was Alice, with a demonic grin on what was left of her face. Behind her, I saw a large circle of 6 black candles, and in the center of the circle, a huge book. Around me, I could see 3 more candles, and I assumed that there were the 3 more behind me. I was scared at this point, and didn't even see the carving knife in her flesh in his hand until I picked up my limp hand and cut my palm, letting the bright red liquid spill from my hand into the cup she was holding in her other hand. Well, now that that's out of our way, let's get started, shall we? Alice, why? Why? I choked out my stiff vocal cords. Oh, poor innocent little lady. If you caught on sooner or later, you may have not been in this situation. But like the girls before you, you were too late. Of course, I don't blame you for you blindly trusting me. Oh, crap. I had 400 years of practice at fooling people, and you were the perfect person to fool, lady. All alone, not a friend in the world. I was just drawn to you when I first saw you. You and me are so alike. As a lonely child who always shunned because of how I looked and acted, you look so much like I did in the 1600s. As well, that is, for those villagers burned my beauty away. They thought they could get rid of me with fire. Ha! They only made me stronger, strong enough to take from them what they took the form from me all those years ago. Sudden realization hit me like a speeding train. I shrugged inwardly, of course, trying to find any way to escape my invisible chains, but was hopeless. She had me, and there was no escape. Well, it's been fun, lady. You made this so fun for me. I think you may even be my favorite victim. But now it's time to get started. I don't have much time left in this body. I have a bad habit of losing them till they are almost dust. Don't worry, it won't hurt a bit. You'll feel like going to sleep. No, no. Ah, I said weakly. I knew I was trapped, but I couldn't give up. I watched as the old hag that was once my friend pour my blood in on each of the 6 candles, and then on the candle around me. Then she lit each one. Finally, she sat down in a circle across from me and began to chant some odd thing that was obviously from the spell book. I felt my eyes growing heavier with each word. I knew if I gave up, I would die. So, with every ounce of my energy left in my body, I shrugged to keep my eyes open. Heard Alice's voice grow louder and louder, and it became harder and harder to stay awake. I began to feel myself drifting. Dot, 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 dot. I felt my body relax. I fell back to the floor. I sat up and blinked. I was alive. I couldn't believe it. The witch's spell had failed. But I didn't see any sign of Alice. But I did see a pile of dust in the circle of the candles. She had run out of time. I shrugged enough to make her time run out. I was still shaken by a man just wrapped my hand er, hand and braced my ankle, clean up the witch's supplies, and dispose of them. I burned them in my fireplace, book and all, and get up to the bed. I slept like a baby, the magic having drained my energy. The next day I had almost gotten over my brush with death till I heard a voice not behind me, but inside me. Well, did you miss me, little lady? I just couldn't get rid of my favorite victim. Now we really can be best friends forever. All I could do was scream. It has been 2 months since then. We couldn't be happier. Sure, we have our little fusses now and then, but we always work it out. And if Lady doesn't work with me, I can always. Well, you don't need to know that part. I just thought it would be such a waste to get rid of her. She's my favorite after all. And with her still here, the body won't die nearly as fast. Lady tried to fight sometimes to push me out, but she doesn't understand. This is my body now, at least for the year. Then I'll move on. Though I've already have a new host pick out. I'm watching them now.